before we start, I want to take a step back, right? Why branding in social age? Why not designing in social age, right? Why don't we talk about that? So it wasn't always like this, right? Companies operated in a different way. Brand managers would go out to media houses and then they would reach to them to acquire, buy and distribute media. So it wasn't always like easy to target your buyer audience, right? So and then the social media arrived, right? And the world changed, right? Because you could now connect, you could now find your audience more easily, you could amplify your brand, right? And a lot of organizations were still working in the way they were working before social age, right? Because the brand managers typically are in their 45-year-old or 50 years old. Their first 5 years, 10 years, they worked in a different way, right? And suddenly you have social media. So the new, there is a change in the paradigm, the way ads or branding is done in social age, right? So we will actually go to the first slide. Okay. So have you heard this, that this is probably the greatest time to be alive, right? This is probably the best time for human mankind, right? It's almost like you have a magic stick in your hand and you have this godlike power to create a brand, connect with your audience and build a billion-dollar business, right? You no longer require mainstreams. In the past, what used to happen is that there are a handful media houses and then they control most of the media properties, right? But now you don't need TVs, you don't need radios, you don't need print, not literally you don't need, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? You have social media, because in the ad or in the media world, we say that when we invest 100 rupees in the world, 50 rupees is a wastage. The only problem is we don't know which 50%, because you reach audience that is not your target audience. So for example, let's say I am doing sunscreen lotion, right? And then that could be appeal to different target audience. It could appeal to athletes, it could appeal to people who are beauty conscious, then it could appeal to somebody who is in some other phase or some other walks of life, right? So we are talking about this unique opportunity called social media, which gave the godlike power, right? So it's all great, wow, right? Now let's talk about this a little more, and then so talk about it. Facebook, right? Almost everybody is on Facebook, right? From your grandmother to your grumpy cousin, right? Everybody is on the Facebook, right? And everybody's got YouTube channel. Who hasn't got? Even I have got YouTube channel with no subscribers on it. So so everybody's on all these social media platforms, right? Twitter, WhatsApp. Organizations are using social media in a different way, and individuals, right? So, and in addition to all this that I have put in, some of the channels I don't even use, okay? For example, Telegram, I haven't even used. I have actually looked it up for this session, right? So, in addition to this, there are almost 20 other apps that has more than 100 million, right? Let this sink in you. 100 million active users per month. Okay, there are 20 more apps which you haven't heard, right? In addition to your Reddit, Quora, I don't know, so many other, like for example, Pinterest, right? So imagine the ability, the opportunity for the marketers to connect with the audience, right? It's really, you would assume that this really gives you a superpower, right? Because in the past, organizations were reaching out to the media houses, right? Or print or something like that, right? Right? So, like I said, you will have this unique opportunity to connect to amplify your brand, create a community, and build a business, billion-dollar business, right? Actually wrong. That's not how it works. Okay, that's really not how it works. So when social media arrived, we were told that we will have amazing power to connect to the audience, right? We'll have amazing power to get higher ROI on every dollar that we invest, right? We would have this unique power of creating content and not have to adhere to the guidelines by any media houses. You could create your own media, right? You could have your own guideline, right? I can do what I want because it's my social media property, it's my own property, right? So what happened? Company poured millions of dollars. So in the last decade, you will see a lot of companies investing millions of dollars in the form of blogs, videos, infographic, white paper, and then they create ads, commercials, all of that. And then they hope that they'll be able to connect to the consumers, right? My pace is okay? Okay, great. But according to a Harvard Business Review, only three, again, this is an important data point, right? Only 3 companies actually broke out and cracked into YouTube top 500, right? More individuals are actually giving hard run for the money of any organizations. Now, I can give you some examples. So, let's talk about Coca-Cola, for example. Okay, it's a billion-dollar brand. And one of their initiative was to actually create a journey page. Okay, it's called Coca-Cola Journey, and it was launched 5-6 years ago and all that. The idea was they would create stories from different walks of life and then connect with the audience, right? So be it sports, be it happiness, be it celebration, whatever it is. Coca-Cola stands for, let's say, happiness, right? How do you promote that and take different snippets from life and then create a stream and call it Coca-Cola Journey and then publish it, right? Let's do this. Now, I want to give you a couple of more examples of how individuals are, competing against top brands. Okay. Now, this is the change in the social media, right? Initially, no individual could challenge a brand, right? Because companies had to reach out to media houses, right? Like Star Group or TV18 or something like that, right? Today, individuals are challenged. Now, let's talk about Minecraft for some time, right? Minecraft is a gaming company. They have more than 100 million downloads, or maybe 200 million downloads, and 100 million active users every month. Okay? It's big, right? But they only have 10.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Okay? Now let's look at Call of Duty. Call of Duty has launched more than 8 seasons, right? And they have 100 million or 111 million active users every month. Imagine the scale, right? The scale with which people are consuming their product, using their platform. But there is a guy who has a channel. His primary job is to take videos when he's playing Minecraft, okay, with some comedy, with some humor and all of that. And he has got 111 million subscribers. Right? Now, both Minecraft and Call of Duty, 2 different organizations. Call of Duty is from Activision. Minecraft and Call of Duty, both put together, is only 18 million, right? But only one individual is able to challenge that. Right? Let's talk about another brand. Okay, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, right? All of you are familiar with this? Wow. Okay, makes my job easy. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is, look at these billion-dollar brands, right? Who are struggling to connect, but they are pouring millions of dollars. They are hiring celebrities, they are hiring athletes, and creating Hollywood-level ads, Hollywood-level commercials, short films, right? And it doesn't get much reaction, much response. It's almost like they keep waiting, right? But this fellow, James Charles, has got 23.8 million subscribers, right? Yeah. So you get my drift, right? So see how individuals are challenging top brands. Now, actually, these brands have to actually stand in line and collaborate with James Charles if the company wants to reach out to their target audience. Right? So that's the power of social media. So whatever we learned in the past about having media planning, buying, working with corporate houses, media groups, it's all changing. It's all changing and individuals are challenging it. Right? Okay. So So what changed, right? We spoke about how individuals are challenging top brands, billion-dollar brands, and all of that. Now, what changed is that let's understand how a brand is created, right? In general, cultural innovation happens from the margins of this society, like fringe groups, athletes, and social activism and all of that. So you will see cosmetizing, right? So basically brands are associated with a cultural innovation, right? And that wasn't easy in the earlier time frame. It was quite difficult because people were scared. Organizations were scared. Organizations would always play the safe game because there is always somebody looking at you, including customers, partners, shareholders. So it takes courage to jump into the bandwagon or to jump into a new line of thought, right? And that doesn't happen. And if that doesn't happen, cultural innovation doesn't happen, right? So, and that's when you actually create brand, right? When the cultural innovation happens, it sticks on your mind, right? Now think about a couple of ads that Apple has created. Let's talk about Think Different. Okay, I don't know how many of you have seen Apple ad on Think Different, but basically what it does is it celebrates rebels, right? When we never used to celebrate rebels, they were outlaws, right? We never wanted to associate with rebels. We wanted to fit into that boundary that society had put around us. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So what has happened is that Apple kind of changed the narrative that Apple computers are not for anyone and everyone. It was for those geniuses, it was for those rebels, misfit, creative minds, which was entirely a different culture subgroup. See, it need not be true, right? What is important is tell a story that is true. Okay? As far as marketing is concerned, okay, not in your real life. So that's how Apple kind of created that ad and created a small subculture group, okay, that nobody else was tapping into. And suddenly, when you see someone, not today, but 10 years ago or 15 years ago, if you see somebody using Mac, we would say that he must be an artist or a creative mind or something like that, right? So now, what am I trying to say? There are different culture groups, subculture groups with their own interests and preferences. It wasn't easy in the earlier time to collaborate. It wasn't easy for the rebels to collaborate with other rebels. It wasn't easy for the misfits or activists or geniuses to collaborate, right? You would actually need to go to a physical event or a meetup, right? But social media kind of greatly increased the pace and intensity of collaboration. Today, if I believe in a cause, I can actually collaborate with somebody who believes in the same cause 100 miles away, right? So continents away, right? So that is made possible through social, right? So, and look at the art world. The bonus is the change in the art world. Earlier, only organizations had, ability to create Hollywood kind of short films, right? Today, individuals are coming together and creating viral, popular short films at much lower budget. Right? That's almost envious to any corporate, right? See, corporates have lakhs of dollars or millions of dollars in the budget, but individuals are able to create it under 10,000, right? So that's changed, right? Okay. So why is it that the content that brands create is not getting the response that individuals are able to generate, right? When a brand creates and publishes, it doesn't go viral, it doesn't get enough reaction. So what's the problem? See, the thing is, we all are interested to talk to a human being, right? We are not interested to engage with a brand, right? We want to talk to people, right? I mean, in a colloquial way, you would see that engage with the brand. We all say that. For example, we use hashtags, we share photos, we love, we advocate a particular brand, right? So when I say we don't engage with brand, I'm saying that you don't talk to a brand like the way you would talk to an individual, right? So when brands put out a content, the Coca-Cola journey story that I said, consumers were more looking at it like a spam content, right? So when we scroll through a Facebook or any social media platform, or when we're watching TV or any show for that matter, any media consumption, any content that is put out by the brand, mostly we will just skip, right? Nobody is interested, right? So, see, 66% of respondents or people feel that it is important for brands to take stand on social and political issues, right? Which gives you that human side, right? Which companies lack altogether, right? Companies talk like a third person, right? So consumers love to talk and express, right? That's how you are seeing that the people who consume Minecraft or Call of Duty are not engaging with those brands which actually created, conceptualized, developed, marketed, distributed. They are not getting that much love from the consumers as much PewDiePie, the other individual who had 100 million subscribers, is getting, right? Okay, let's do it. So what's the solution, right? So the solution is to look for cultural innovation. If you want to create a brand, look for cultural innovation. Talk about causes, talk about cultural group preferences. So the same brand can talk about multiple things. It's not necessary that a brand needs to only talk about just one key messaging, because you have different subculture group, and as long as your messaging is targeted to that particular group, you are okay, right? So push new ideology. That's what we are talking about, cultural innovation, right? Now I'm going to talk about a couple of examples, right? So when I say push new ideology, what do you mean by that, right? It's not easy for brands to just push new ideology. What happens when the consumers push it back, Right? There are so many instances where brands have recalled ad because they touch the nerve point of some cultural group, some subgroup or something like that, right? Okay, so look at Under Armour, we challenge the traditional ideas. So so if the example here is a person called Misty Copeland, I think, but she was told that she did not have the body or the fitness to be a ballet dancer.